Welcome to Ninethy Gaming.
In a myriad of negativity, from YouTube to Twitter, from X videos to Reddit, it's hard for your average Halo fan to stay positive, even harder still for a new fan to get involved in the franchise.
We let them down.
On the outlook, it often appears that one or two things have happened. That Halo fans outwardly hate Halo, or that 343 hate the fans in the game.
Question: who is the worst game developer? Is 343 Industries.
Man, what a time to be a Halo fan.
The horrible choices that they've made by coming out and literally saying, hey, we did something different here, guys. We hired people that hated Halo to make Halo.
From a bad launch of a mainline game to a terribly written, performed and directed Frankenstein's monster of a TV show.
AI off.
What the fuck?!
It's hard for anyone to enjoy whatever Halo is and what it's become. But today, I'd like to bring in some positivity if I can. I'd like to ask you the question, is Halo Infinite worth trying now? I'm going to try my hardest to keep this brief because no one wants to watch mid-gameplay or bad edits for too long, so let's get it out of the way. Yes, my Spartan cost money.
You sick, vindictive fuck!
And I hate the fact that that's a thing. I'm saying this now because I also personally hate when a creator bashes a game while having hundreds of dollars of worth of in-game items.
Oh man, this is a hard choice. I feel like this price is not that great. Alright, listen. Because you can get both of these, I'm gonna scoop these.
It's insanely hypocritical and very unhealthy for the discussion. My Spartan's color scheme was from a battle pass that I missed, so I had to pay $10 to access it. The Spartan's shoulders were on sale for 900 credits, so that's $9, but you can't actually buy $9 worth of credits, so again, $10. The helmet is in a bundle for about 1,200 credits, so that's $12. Again, you can't just buy $12, you can only buy 10, 5, or 15, or whatever. But all of this that I got through today's sponsor. No, I'm joking, I'm not that big at all. I actually got them through Microsoft Rewards. Like, hell am I actually spending real money, real hard-earned money on this game? In short,
I use the stones to destroy the stones.
Now, onto the subject at hand. Sorry if that peaked. In my eyes, there are about 5 pillars that are trying to keep this game afloat, while there are 5 weights trying to bring it into the sea. The Abyss of Dark Despair were all games that our flops drown. I'm talking about the Bargain Bin. I'm talking about the Wild Wasteland. I don't actually know what the I'm talking about. When we'll just call it the Sea of Dread. Yeah, cool. The 5 weights. Start with the negatives. In my opinion, there are 5 big detrimental things to Halo Infinite that's really stopping it from getting off the ground. Those are microtransactions, forced crossplay, desync network issues, lack of cohesive vision, and a bad launch. Microtransactions. As briefly touched upon already, I hate microtransactions. I despise them, and don't for a second think they are needed in this game because it's free to play, and an entry cost of $60 isn't enough, because that's not true. Especially when Baldur's Gate 3, Remnant and Elden Ring are all below the standard asking price and are blowing people away with player-friendly economics, no day one DLC, and no microtransactions. That's right, they just made a good game that focuses on being a good game and player-friendly and entertaining, and people are eating it up and spending money. The result of the NFT bro retorts is always the same. The 3 biggest arguments I hear in defense of the game's quite frankly disgusting, predatory, and downright abhorrent microtransactions are:
you don't have to buy them. The game is free to play, and they're just cosmetic only.
The game technically isn't free to play for anyone that bought the campaign or anyone that has, Xbox Ultimate Super Cool Game Pass. So I'll be honest, the campaign isn't even worth $60 alone, so we're going to put the free-to-play to rest there, unless you exclusively don't pay for Microsoft Gold and you're playing on PC or whatever, then fine. The other two arguments of not buying it and they're just cosmetic is pretty obviously stupid. There is a clear-cut result of those two arguments, and it's called Destiny 2. The community right now, or the smart members, are all up in arms because of various things that Bungie have said. One such thing is they said that making the seasonal ritual armor is hard and that they can't keep the promise they themselves made, especially since no one wears the armor. They can't keep up with the demand. While making multiple armors you can't earn but cost like $20 a piece and slapping that in the store. The shop has become so much of a focus that it's taking resources away from the rest of the game explicitly and exclusively to sell expensive cosmetics in a looter shooter. In a game about unlocking armor and grinding for armor, you now just pay for it when that's one of the core tenets of the game. That's the result of its cosmetic only. That's only ever going to be the result of its cosmetic only. You want another example? In Overwatch 2. That you don't have to buy it doesn't work either, because these corporations aren't relying on people like me to buy the microtransactions. They're relying on whales. I do need to move on from this, otherwise the video will be too long. Microtransactions can be a video in their own right if people want me to talk about them on more. But Halo's microtransactions are predatory and often at times rely heavily on FOMO tactics. That's fear of missing out. Though recently they have started to add previous bundles that were vaulted that you can just outright buy now. But what needs to happen is coatings need to not be sold in the way that they are. I find it stupid that we have to pay for basic colors. We've never had to do that before. And bundles should exist, but players should also be able to buy items separately. I shouldn't and can't make any more suggestions because again that's not what this video is about, but I'm happy to make a video on that at a later date if you want that. I need a drink because my throat's getting dry. Forced crossplay. Oh boy, I am going to get hate for this one, but every single time there is an outright dominant player in my lobby, they are always on PC. Now I know there are stats to prove that control is better than keyboard and mouse on Halo, but I don't know if that's the case anymore, and I also don't fucking care about controller versus mouse and keyboard on Halo. I care about the advantages PC as a console brings. It makes for a very miserable gaming experience when you're just getting dogpiled by a player that has a superior setup. I want to add on here, mid-edit, that I myself have got messages from keyboard and mouse players saying it's not fair because I'm on controller. Or they've asked me if I'm on controller because they think controller is better. It goes both ways. Both PC players and console players hate this. Obviously some people don't, some people do, but in my experience a lot of more people dislike forced crossplay, and a lot of those people are console players. This again is another topic that deserves its own video, but they, in my opinion, need to take forced crossplay out. 9 out of 10 console players don't want to play with PC players in my experience, and the thought alone is enough to make people not want to pick up a game entirely. If forced crossplay is the only way PC players can get to play the game, then you can't deny that the game is dead. Moving on. Console players deserve respect from the devs too. You know. For the record, I play on both. Desync network issues. The game still has clipping, phasing through your teammates and enemies, and desync issues which often result in an unfair demise, and that's enough to put anyone off. Hell, I've put the game down sometimes because of it. While these have been drastically reduced and I can actually play the game now and my shots land, I still have a missile disappear into thin air from time to time and shots still don't register. It's just unfortunate. It is being fixed, it is better, but it's still there. Lack of cohesive vision. This is being fixed with the new team and the now end of the hiring freeze. God, my voice. Help me. But for a long time, it felt like the game's engine was arguing with the developers, and leadership couldn't really figure out a way to take this game in a specific direction, except for ways to make money out of people, which results in non-player friendly tactics like battle passes. Most people are starting to hate battle passes now. No cross-core, which heavily hinders customization as well as coatings. Actually coatings. I hate them. This also has an effect on lack of a real progression system and reward system. A lot of basic looking free-to-play Spartans out there that have no cosmetic variety or options to them. It really hurts the game. And the final bad thing is bad launch. I don't see this mentioned nearly enough, but then again, most positive cases for Halo Infinite are on Reddit and Twitter, which are basically both just echo chambers, where NFT bros jerk each other off over their $1,000, $100, $250 Spartan. I don't think you can get a $1,000 Spartan. Maybe you can, I don't know. We can never, should never, ever forget how bad this launch was. And I think people aren't. I think people won't. And the people that aren't coming back won't forget that. That's one of the reasons why they're not coming back. For a lot of people, that's the straw that broke the camel's back. That's another thing weighing the game down. So what about the positive? What pillars are holding the game up? Because right now it still sounds bad. Yes, sure, but one of the best positives, updates. The game is starting to really roll out some quality of life changes quite frequently, and while 343 have been late to the party, as Charlie said,
I hear they're making like quality improvements to Halo Infinite. Very tardy to the party, but at least they're trying.
They are doing good. With the surprise introduction of squad battles that reintroduce older Halo maps into a smaller big team battle variant, it really helps vehicle players scratch that itch better than most other big team battle maps made by 343. Vehicle friendly maps from Halo 3 and Halo 2 and Halo 4 are key to Halo, and this playlist really helps that. Infection is great too. It's nice to see it return. Yes, it's late. Yes, it should have been there since launch, but it's here now, and I'd like to say it's one of the most fun variants of this game I've ever played. Now bring back the OG shotgun and bring back Firefight. 343, you know this needs to be done. Forge. Halo Infinite's Forge is just incredible, and it's starting to prove it was worth its weight by the fact that 343 are now going to be regularly scanning player-made Forge maps and adding them into rotation. And I want to be clear, some Forge maps you can't even tell they're Forge maps, they're that good. I'm being honest here, it's not like Halo Reach or Halo 5 where everything looks plastic or grey. You sometimes can't tell that these are Forge maps, and I'm like, whoa, okay. The community. Outside of the game, toxic. But inside of the game, I've made a lot of new friends, and we often message each other clips all the time, and we have a blast in custom games and even Forge. Trust me, this game needs as much social interaction as it can get, and this just proves it to me. The game's in-game chat box results in some hilarious conversations. We just need pre- and post-game lobbies. And map voting. Why? Let me have some map voting, please. Gameplay. For all its issues and all its problems and all its microtransactions, one thing has always been stated and stood out is that the bones of this game are good. They are so good. Now, I will admit, the focus on making Halo esports centric is bad. The game and the casual player should come first, but then offer options to alter the game for the esports scene, just like MLG did back in the day. It's the community that makes Halo, not the esport, so let the community help you build it. But the gameplay is kind of fantastic for the most part. Granted, aiming still feels a bit weird. One friend said she felt like it was aiming with honey, sticky and slow, and I agree that the aim is weird in this game. But now that the flesh is being added to the bones are starting to show their strength, and the gameplay is good. I play a lot of MCC still, and I'll be honest, I think I'm starting to have more fun with Infinite, and I'm kind of happy about that. Pierre Heinz. Might have butchered that name. Weird that I'm bringing up a name here, it shouldn't be. Like, for a lot of people, Joe Staten was a rock for this game's hope, and now it's Pierre. Again, I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. While he has been working on Infinite throughout its life, he's now the head of 343, and since he's the guy who fixed MCC, I think we're going to start to see his influence on this game take shape. I think we already are. I've got a lot more hope for Halo's future now he's at the helm. So with all this information, what is the answer to the question? Should you try Halo Infinite? Yes, I think you should try Halo Infinite. Be mindful of the Reddit and the external fan base, they're kind of toxic. But play the game and experience its sandbox that it genuinely has to offer, because a lot of fun things are here. I mean, and what other game aside from Fortnite can you play in Skyrim's Whiterun? I'd recommend Halo Infinite. I'd strongly recommend it if the progression system was better and tied to better cosmetic rewards and not a stupid battle pass. But from a gameplay perspective, the game is fun. It's worth giving it a go for that alone. It's far better than it was at launch. It's far more fun than it was at launch. It works better than it does at launch. But let's never forget how bad that launch was, please. Well, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'd like to thank all that stayed to the very end. I think this might be a long one. But let me know what you want to see me talk about next. See you guys later. And how it's 15 minutes long.